How about that? 2-0. The Cardinals, a 26-13 winner against Illinois Wesleyan, and now take that record on the road to Milliken. We'll have head coach Jeff Thorne on the show to talk about that. We'll also have Dom Muoghalu and DJ Warkenthien on. Got a little bit of a surprise for you as well there. Finally, we wrap up with our Nequa connections on this week's Cardinal Corner. All that and more is next on the Red Zone.
Presenting sponsor of the Red Zone is Athletico, the preferred provider of physical therapy and athletic training for North Central College.
Welcome inside the Red Zone, and joining me first is head coach of the football team, Jeff Thorne, and a tough victory. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about Robert Morris having that been a big victory, but a ranked opponent, Division III. You know this is going to count towards the end of season rankings and all of that. Big win, 26-13. What was your first assessment coming out of that football game?
Great to get the win. Thrilled that we're 1-0 against a very, very good Wesleyan team, much improved from a year ago. But things that we need to get fixed, red zone scoring, having to settle for field goals. Going 4 for 4 on field goals was a huge positive. Liam did a great job, but we've got to be better at getting touchdowns. And then just some of the lack of discipline that I saw on the field that we addressed on Sunday and yesterday. We need to get cleaned up. Too many penalties, and the variety of the penalties was what really concerned me.
Running game continues to show improvement from a year ago. The offensive line seems like it's not just getting their first blocks, but moving on to the second level. Was that I can imagine that was a concerted effort in the offseason to make sure that was going. Are you encouraged by the progress they've made?
Encouraged, but not even close to satisfied. I mean, we ran, I think, for 120, 130 yards. You know, we're at our best as a program when we're running for 250 yards. So we still have a ways to go. We are making progress. Our offensive line is looking better than it did a year ago at this time. So I'm encouraged by that, but we've got a long ways to go still to get where we need to be.
Before the season, you said Austin Brunick's going to provide the lightning, Dom Muoghalu is going to bring the thunder. That tandem has been really good so far this season in the sense that they balance each other. Does that make it tough for opposing defenses when they see one guy come in versus the other?
You know, I think they know what to expect in our running game. It is nice to have two really good backs, and Dom's brought a really unique dimension to the offense that we haven't had for the last couple of years. Austin is still Austin, and he's that explosive back that at any point, if he hits a seam, he could be gone. And Dom has that element as well, but Dom is a little bit more of break tackles, runner. So it's really a nice dimension to have to complement Austin.
Passing game. We talked last week, the second half of the football game, Andrew Kaminsky stepped up. 5 catches, 61 yards, looked like a playmaker. He really looked the part against Illinois Wesleyan. 2 touchdowns, and I mean, his connection with Brock just looks instantaneous. Is that showing up?
They've known each other for a long time. The boom circuit and some of the things that happen in 7-on-7, I think they've thrown the ball together before being teammates here at North Central. So I think that helped a lot. But Andrew's just a gamer. He's a tough kid. He's tough-minded. He wants the football. He's confident. He's not cocky. He's confident. He's really a ton of fun to have around, and a guy that you can trust at a young age because of how he carries himself.
Brock looked accurate. He looked pretty sharp in this game. Not a lot of opportunities, like you said, in the red zone. It seemed like you stalled a little bit, but from week 1 to week 2 for Brock, an improvement on film? Yeah,
I mean, Brock's Brock. He's going to, even when he's not at his best, he's still really, really good. And I'm going to take him when he's not at his best. He's fantastic. And Brock, it means a lot to Brock. He works really hard at it, and he believes that, you know, when we get the ball with a minute left in the half at our own 10-yard line, he believes we can go score. And that's the kind of mindset you want from your quarterback. So, yeah, I was very happy with how Brock played.
Late in the game, you were trying to milk the clock, trying to just make sure you got out of that game with a win. And Brock took off with the feet right down the heart of the defense. And talking to him after the game, he goes, that might not have been something Coach Jeff would have liked to have seen. What were your thoughts when you saw Brock take off?
I loved it. I think it's exactly what needed to happen right there. He stepped up in the pocket. Nothing was there. he went and then he got down. So that's what we talked about, just having that discernment of knowing when I can put my body on the line because we need a first down, and when, hey, we might have this game put away, let's get on my butt and let's protect my body. So he did a great job with that. It was a great play. We needed that first down, and he got it done.
He's shy about the feet, but he can move. He can actually escape the pocket and get some yards, can't he?
He can. He can.
I want to talk about the defensive unit because in the second half they pitched a shutout. And the effort was back half, defensive line, and especially the linebackers. Let's talk about the linebackers. Tommy Sora had probably the most pivotal point in the game, the interception. Did you feel that in that moment, like, hey, this game just swung, the momentum swung to our side?
Absolutely. It was first drive of the second half, and we had talked about a 3-and-out in the locker room, so I was a little concerned that they had put a drive together. They're down around our 30-yard line and third and long situation. We needed to stop there really bad. And Tommy came up with a big pick and then a great return, too, to give us great field position. And then we went on and scored, and that changed the game. Any
thought on putting Tommy Sora in the running back position? And
we're going to leave him at linebacker. Yeah, he looked good, don't get me wrong, but we're going to leave him at linebacker. He's pretty good.
Tyler Oakley also came up with an interception, and it looked like it was just an instinct play where he slid in front of a receiver and picked the ball off. He's made some really big plays in these first two games.
Tyler's a great player. He's extremely athletic, and you're going to see more of that as the season wears on. He's getting better and better and more comfortable with technique, and that's really the interception. He used great technique. He did exactly what he was coached to do, and there he's in a position to make a play, and he made it. Great player, great kid. Thrilled for him.
Back half of the defense is pretty inexperienced. You have Justin Sturzman and Pat Cravens back there, and they're performing, obviously, up to their standard. But the two cornerbacks, you had a little bit of a rotation in because of just some things here and there throughout the game, but what was their performance like when you went back and took a look at the game?
Very pleased with Mike Zebold stepping in for Jelani after he went down, fifth-year senior. Had 2 pass breakups, really good plays, really had an opportunity for an interception, and right on our sideline, made a great play on the ball. So I was very pleased with the corner play, and they're getting better, and that's what we need to see.
Zach Greenberg looked like he had a much better game in the sense that he was in position. Last week you said he was in position to make some plays, didn't go his way. He batted away some pretty big balls, especially early on, that killed momentum. As the youth has emerged in training camp and now into the season, what does the coaching staff think about their potential and how they've progressed over the first few months as a Cardinal?
It's, having that bye week was really nice in between Robert Morris and Illinois Wesleyan because we could work on some things that we had to address. And I think Zach did a great job of fixing some of the issues that popped up in the Robert Morris game. He's got size. He's extremely intelligent on the field. Son of a coach. His dad's a high school coach. So he's got a great football IQ and extremely reliable. He's a kid that is accountable to himself and his teammates. So very, very comfortable with what Zach's doing. And between Jelani and Mike and Kylie Dorsey, we've got 4 corners that we believe can get the job done.
Defensive line, this is an area of strength on the team, maybe even the area of strength. Those guys are getting at the quarterback, maybe not the sack totals they had from a year ago, but it looks like they're still just a hair away from some really racking up some damage.
Got to get back to basics there and use technique. They're not playing as well as they're capable of. And if they start to get back to what they were doing last year, and I think they will, that's an extremely talented unit. You know that. We led the nation in sacks a year ago. I expect them to play exceptionally well on Saturday this week against Milliken.
2 weeks into the season, it seems like every position group has played well, but not up to their standard. How scary is this team going to be when you guys reach fever pitch across the board?
Well, that's the big question. We have to play to the standard that we expect our players to play to and what they expect themselves to play to. And that just gets back to blocking and tackling. We talk about all the scheme in the world doesn't mean anything. The game of football is won with blocking and tackling. And if we do those things, then we have the opportunity to be we're a good football team. We can be a great football team if we block and tackle. And that's kind of been the rallying cry this week. Let's get back to basics and do what we do to the best of our abilities and let the chips fall where they may at that point.
Well, we're going to go back, we're going to take a look at this game and check the tape, and then we'll preview the Milliken game.
Sounds good.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on the Red Zone. Welcome back to the Red Zone, and now it's time to check the tape.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by M&M Rentals.
Coach, first play I want to get to is that pivotal interception that Tommy Sora had. And this is just Brandon Bauer trying to make a play on 4th down, and you guys coming up with a big, big play.
Yeah, great job by Tommy just getting in the passing lane there. Made an adjustment in coverage, and I think it really may have caught the quarterback by surprise a little bit. And, you know, Tommy, not only the interception, I think the return was pivotal too, because it gave us a short field, and we scored pretty quickly thereafter. So, again, Tom Sora was named CCIW Defensive Player of the Week for good reason. It was a huge play for us. He
could probably be named Defensive Player of the Week on most weeks for his work on the
He or
field.
DJ, I'll tell you what, they've been really, really good the first 2 weeks, and DJ was the Player of the Week the first week. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Second play is 3rd down pass. This is the exact drive coming right off that interception. You want to score points. You want to capture onto that momentum, and it's 3rd and long. You have to come up with a play, and this is rudder to Andrew Kaminsky.
Yeah, I think one of the other really critical stats in the game was 3rd down conversions. We were, you know, at 50%, that's our goal. We want to be 50% or higher, and I think Wesleyan was down in the 20-25% range. So our defense got off the field, particularly in the second half, because that was something we talked about at halftime, is 3rd down. We got to win 3rd down. And plays like that from Brock and Drew really changed the game. You know, their drive continuers, and it allowed us to get points.
Third play I want to get to, and we'll show some love to one of the guys that's going to be hopping on set. Dom Muoghalu, and I mean the speed and the explosion off the hole is pretty impressive.
Dom's got great vision, and he's explosive, and he's powerful, and it's just such a great compliment, as I mentioned earlier, to Austin. It's been a pleasure watching him grow into the offense. In the spring, he didn't have a great spring, and what he did between the spring and coming back for fall camp is really impressive. So he worked his tail off in the summertime to put himself in a position to help us.
Now let's look forward. You have a road test for the first time. Not even opponent-wise, but after being at home twice, how difficult or what challenges present themselves going on the road for the first time in a season?
Everything's accelerated today from a game planning and preparation standpoint. So that is different than what we've experienced the first 2 weeks. And then just hopping on a bus and going and, you know, staying in a hotel overnight and getting up and playing a game. It's just different.
Yeah.
But we've been doing it for a long time, and we got a lot of upperclassmen on this team, so I don't think it's going to be anything that's too overwhelming for us. The opponent, on the other hand, is very, very good. Milliken's a different team than they were the past several years. So we will have our hands full. Great quarterback, a lot of speed on offense, and they've got one of the top linebackers in the conference. That's their Mike linebacker, number 5.
I want to talk about the quarterback play for Milliken. You have already faced some really good quarterbacks this year. Kenyatte Allen for Robert Morris, elusive. Brandon Bowers is one of the conference's top quarterbacks. What does Nico Stepina bring to the table?
A little bit of both. Extremely athletic. He's very fast, so we've got to contain him. Also a very effective thrower, so we're going to have to be very good in our pass defense and coverage, and we're going to have to get some pressure.
Coach, good luck down in Milliken, and hopefully you can come back with a win.
Thanks, Kevin.
Coming up next, we have a couple of players joining me on set. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us. Watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
It's time for our second play of the week, and the defense just keeps getting some love. First week, Tyler Oakley. Second week, Tommy Sora. The pick on 4th down flips the field position and flips the whole game right around. The Cardinals use the interception and score on the very next drive, breaking the 13-13 tie. The big play catapults the Cardinals to a 26-13 win over the 16th-ranked Titans. That means the 5th-ranked Cardinals are now 2-0. Big thanks to Tommy Sora. He takes home the Red Zone's Play of the Week. You've got the Red Zone, and I got DJ Warkenthien and Dom Muoghalu here on set. And guys, big win against Illinois Wesleyan. This is top-flight conference opponent, somebody that you knew you'd have to face at some point this season and bring down. And it just so happened that they were a ranked team as well. DJ, we'll go to you first. Coming into this game, you probably knew the gravity of the situation, how big this win could be. How happy are you that you got that win?
Oh, I mean, thrilled, obviously. You know, every time we walk off the field with a W, it's a good feeling. But this is a really good Wesleyan team. You know, they're better than the last two Wesleyan teams I've seen the last couple of years. And they sort of came out with the want to really want to win the game. And so did we. You know, it's the first time I've ever went against them ranked. So did we. This is the highest I think we've been ranked early in the year. So, you know, it feels good to get a W like that. We got a lot of work ahead of us. Well, it can get better, and the potential is very, very high for us, as we know, as a team. And we haven't gotten to where we want to be yet. But like I said, a win's a win. It couldn't be more happy to be 2-0 right now.
Last year, 6 interceptions, only 2 this year. I mean, you know, but I mean, big ones. Tyler Oakley early in the game, and then your running mate, Tommy Sora, coming up with that big one. When you saw him pick that ball off, what was going through your mind?
The first thing that was going through my mind was we need to get him in the end zone. You can sort of see on the film that I see Tommy catch the ball, and I sort of just beeline right for the quarterback. Quarterback sort of sidestepped me, took himself out of the play, and I looked back, I saw Tommy was sort of 10, 15 yards behind me. I just thought, yeah, who's the next man in my line? And then saw the center, the guy that Monte was going against all day, and we kept talking about who's going to put the biggest hit on the center all day. And I think I might have won with that interception, but seeing Tommy and Oakley do their thing, you know, that's what we expect out of those guys. You know, we expect Oakley to make an interception a game. We expect Tommy to be captain out there, do what he does, and hold everyone to the right accountable. So when I saw them make those plays, I felt good for them, felt good for our team, and I really think that Tommy play was the one play that changed the game for the second half.
On the sideline, I can imagine the offense was pretty juiced when you saw that. 13-13 at the half. That ball game could have gone either way on that drive. Defense picks it off. You guys capitalize. How big was it to score on that next drive?
It was awesome. It was just a great thing to be a part of. And I mean, like scoring like that, it's just something that we try to do as a team. Like we try to, whenever we get on the field, we try to put the ball in the end zone. And having Brock as a captain, like Coach said, like it doesn't matter how much time's on the clock. When we get the ball, we're trying to put it in the end zone. And him putting that in our mindset, it just helps us click together and get that one mindset that nobody can stop us.
On that drive, 3rd down, Andrew Kaminsky comes up with a grab, then the touchdown catch. How big of a spark has he been for that unit?
He's awesome. And what people don't realize is that, like, off the field, the same spark that he has on the field, it's off the field, too. He's a great teammate to be around, a great friend to have. And, I mean, that type of stuff just helps bring the team together. Because when you have people who are great on the field and even better off the field, it's like you just never not want to be around them. You always want to be around them. So, I mean, like, having teammates that you always want to be around, it brings that relationship closer, and it ultimately wants us to play harder for each other. So it's just he's a great guy, great teammate, and I'm excited to see him take off this season. Defensively,
let's go back to the defensive side of the football. We talked about Tommy Sora and Tyler Oakley, but the back half of the defense, you know, you have Justin Sturzman, who used to be a linebacker. How's he doing at free safety? How are you guys feeling about him?
You know, Grandpa, we made the decision in the spring, sort of coaching staff and those players made the decision to sort of move him back to make room for some other people on our defense, and sort of picked up on it really fast. You know, he's a brilliant kid, being in the military and everything, and coming out and sort of being the leading tackler on our team for 2 or 3 years at the will linebacker position. So it didn't take him a long time to get used to that safety spot, but it sort of just fit right in with us. You know, him and Patty playing next to each other, and then when we got into fall camp, you know, there were some complications. There still is. Him moving spots is obviously going to take some time to adjust to, but you know, Sturzman, he's doing what we expect out of him.
Have you ever seen a more hard-hitting duo at safety than Justin Sturzman and Pat Cravens?
Not in my time. Between the two of them, you know, they really get the job done there. Especially Sturzman loves coming down fast because he likes playing in the box, but Patty's kind of just a psycho as well, so you can find those guys trying to lay hits all day.
Offensively, the running game has been phenomenal so far this season. Last year, stalled at times. This year, you and Austin have found holes. The offensive line has done a great job. I'm sure you're thinking those big guys in front, aren't you?
Yeah, whenever I get home, I just tell my parents, like, I thank God and I thank them, because if it wasn't for either of those people, I mean, we wouldn't have the running success that we have. But, I mean, even though it is successful, there's always more things that we can do. We're always working harder to make sure some of those 15-yard runs become 50-yard runs. Some of those 50-yard runs become 75-yard runs. We're trying to make the running game a successful part of this team. We're trying to make it a big part of this team, and I'm excited to go forward and just excel with the guys in front of me.
I got to ask you about your mouthpiece.
Oh.
A little intimidating.
What is it?
It's like it has the teeth on it. Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of NFL players and other like elite college players have it. And I'm like, that looks awesome. Like, I mean, and it's an intimidation factor. I don't care how stupid some people think it looks. I don't care how cool. Like, I think it's an intimidation factor. If you got someone running at you and you see the teeth like that, I mean, you're gonna think twice before you hit them, you know?
That's awesome. You guys ready for the quick hits?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
All right, so 3 fun questions. We won't necessarily talk about football. In fact, the first question, we'll go to DJ first. Your favorite activity outside of any sport?
Well, me being me, and me being with the roommates I live with in my house, we recently got our hands on a golden tee machine and a pool table, both for free. So we've been, over the last couple of weeks, when we're not at football or at class, you can sort of find us in our game room playing some 8-ball or playing some golden tee against each other, especially Brock. Brock likes to think he's good at golden tee, but
who's the best?
I'm a lot better than Brock.
Same question, Dom.
I mean, when I'm not playing football, we're not doing anything football related, I'd have to say probably just hanging out with friends or family, but we do get video games going, like Super Smash Bros. That's like the top game for me. Like, I could sit on that game all day, honestly. Yeah, I play with you. Like on the Wii U, they got Dr. Mario back, so I'm like, all right, that's my guy. Other than that, I got Mario or Ike, but I don't want to get too much into that. I don't want people thinking I'm a nerd or something, you know. But
hey, we played that game so much in college. Those games were awesome.
I was just playing it the other day. I'm not going to lie to you.
Dom, we'll go to you for the second question as well. We're going to go back in time. Your best arts and crafts project growing up as a kid?
Okay. Well, I'd have to say it was way back. It was me and a girl who's now my girlfriend now. We had, like, she was really big in arts and crafts. We had, like, it was like eggs, and, like, she would drill a hole in it and put paint in it. And it was like a canvas, and we just threw the eggs at the canvas, and, like, the explosion made different designs. I know it sounds really complex.
That's like some next level art.
Yeah, like she was the mastermind behind all of that. But like at first I was like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? But then, like, when I started throwing them and when it dried up, like, I was like, this is awesome. And it's hanging in my room right now. Like, it's one of the coolest things I've ever done. Like,
it's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, painted eggs. Anything as interesting as that?
I don't know about as interesting. And when I was in 5th grade, we had to make an island out of something. We had to design an island, create an island, and me and my mom went to Walgreens, spent a good $30 to $40 on candy, and I made probably about a 4-foot by 2.5-foot island, and strictly made out of nothing but candy, and had some sharks floating around with Twizzlers cut off the top, and it was pretty cool. You know, it was pretty unique, and I probably put most of my time into that project over anything else.
Did it last? Or was it devoured shortly after being turned in?
A lot of hot glue went into the process.
So I hope not. I hope not.
So the pieces that had wrappers on the outside were eaten on the bus ride going back home.
Last question is not even a question, and you guys are ready for this. We talked a couple of weeks ago, and now it's time. I want you guys to sing. You guys are both Nico alums.
Boy.
Here comes the fight song. Maybe just 20 or 30 seconds. If you can do the whole thing, let's see what you can do.
All right. Blue and gold displayed with pride, Nico Valley's here. Set the earth reverberating with the Wildcat cheer. Rah, rah, rah. Luke boosts us up to our best. We will score in triumph at last. Hail, hail, we're number one, so let's capture the victory now.
Well done.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Alums.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck down at Milliken this upcoming weekend, and hope you can come back with a win.
Yes, sir.
Coming up next, we're going to the Cardinal Corner. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by Belgio's Catering.
Between 2012 and 2015, Neuqua Valley football went an astonishing 23-4 in conference play, and that includes a trip to the 8A state semifinal game in 2012. Now, 6 players from those teams are still buckling up chin straps, donning shoulder pads, and representing Naperville as North Central College Cardinals. So what does their former head coach Bill Ellinghaus think about this reunion at Benedetti Worley Stadium?
Last year I was able to get out to a couple of their games and see a bunch of our players over there, and you know, I mean, they treat those kids right. They work them hard, and they reap the benefits of it because they are very, very good, and I mean, they can go beat a lot of football teams.
North Central head coach Jeff Thorne, as well as his father, John Thorne, recruited these players. 3 came in as freshmen, 3 transferred. For one of those transfers, sophomore running back Dom Muoghalu, it was a rivalry game. Under the lights, they convinced him to leave Upper Iowa University and come home to Naperville.
It was the day we played Wheaton at night here the first time. That it sold. Everything else was just adding fuel to the fire for me to come here, because just seeing, I think it was Patty's punt return that just put the icing on the cake. Right before the half, I was like, this is the school for me. Just the crowd went crazy, the team went crazy, and you could see that they were used to winning, but they were still happy to win.
The gathering of Wildcats, starting years earlier, sparked by senior receiver Ryan Kuhl.
He sort of brought me here, and then when Brock was texting me before I even got on campus freshman year, so you know, it's just getting the word out there. Once they come out to a visit, they come to a game, you know, it's really easy to get people in here and from around the city, especially with downtown Naperville has offer. So Naperville's a great place. Why leave?
Junior linebacker DJ Warkenthien is joined by Muoghalu and Kuhl, along with sophomore quarterback Brock Rutter and sophomore cornerbacks Nate Bailey and Zach Greenberg. And it wasn't just the football field where Warkenthien and Greenberg became friends.
Me and DJ go way back from wrestling and football, and we even went to the same middle school. So I just talked to him. I saw him go here. Why not North Central? He got a bunch of conference rings and a great winning atmosphere. So yeah, it's kind of an easy choice.
Warkenthien calls the situation unique. Spread out over 5 different position groups, the team has one common thread pulling them all together: Neuqua Valley. Greenberg sees it unfolding in the locker room every day.
Me and DJ are like 2 lockers apart, and he's just always messing with me, trying to get in my head, and it's just funny. And Brock's down the way a little bit, so we're always just around each other. It's a lot of fun.
Brock Rutter transferred in from Indiana State as a freshman last season, and in his first go-around, the redshirt freshman threw for 38 touchdowns, led NCC to the second round of the playoffs, and was named the conference's Offensive Player of the Year. However, according to Muoghalu, despite some serious accolades, little has in fact changed in the huddle when Rutter steps into it. He is still just as funny as he was back in high school.
It was my senior year. We were playing, I feel like it was with Bonzi. We were just driving down the field, and it was like a critical time, and Brock was just in the huddle telling jokes, just like, and I was just like, I was all panicking and everything, but he's over there telling jokes. And I mean, in college, like on the sideline, you just hear him. He's just cracking jokes to everybody, making sure everybody's just calm, cool, and collected.
This group of former Wildcats turned Cardinals is still winning at a seriously impressive pace. Over the last 3 seasons, North Central is 20-2 in conference and now has an eye on bringing the national title home to Naperville in 2017. Welcome back, and to close out the show, as always, Sports Information Director Clark Teuscher. Clark, thanks for hopping on as always.
Absolutely.
Men's soccer, we had a game against Knox, and it was eventful without being eventful. No goals, but oh my, crazy game. And I mean, this is a Knox team that was scoring a lot of goals coming in, and North Central shut them out.
Yeah, you know, this was something that our team knew was going to happen. You know, they play a very physical brand of soccer. They try to use that as an intimidating tool, and it didn't work. You know, we fought right back, and you know, kept them out of the goal. They had been scoring a lot of goals. You're correct about that, and you know, we would have liked to come out of there with a win, but you know, to come away from it not having conceded any goals and not gotten too carried away with what they were trying to hassle us into was. Probably an encouraging sign for the coaches. You know, they're going to talk about that obviously moving forward. They have to make sure they maintain composure in situations like that. But you know, they're 7 games in now, and even though they didn't score any goals last night, their scoring is almost double what it was at this point a year ago. So I think they're encouraged with where they're at this point.
And they've done that with an extremely young team. Talking to Coach Klosterman yesterday, got freshmen dotted all over the starting lineup. I'm sure he's thrilled to see 3-3-1 with a team that is still trying to get its feet wet.
Yeah, they got another week and a half before conference play begins. Still trying to figure out where some guys work best, but I think he knew that this was going to be a possibility. These young guys were going to play right away. He was very pleased with their efforts in recruiting, and these guys are really talented, and they need to be on the field. It's just where are you going to put them in combinations that are going to work the best. Women's
soccer, also very young. How are they faring right now? Is it early part now going towards conference?
Yeah, it's 6 games in, 3-2-1. Really wild game over at Aurora last week. It was no score at halftime. It ended 4-3. They played a team, Co College, on Sunday that was undefeated coming in. Wound up tying with them 1-1. Thought they had them beat. Co scored in the final minute of regulation. It wound up a tie. There's still some things to work on there in terms of closing out games. But just like with the men, very encouraged. We got a lot more offense, resulting in goals, and the players on the front end are playing very well together and finding each other. I think it's just a matter of them mentally of making sure they finish the job the last few minutes.
Now, women's tennis, speaking of finishing the job, they had a comeback win that was pretty thrilling, didn't they?
Yeah, they played Elmhurst earlier in the week, and trailing after doubles play, but made a rally during singles and pulled out a 5-4 victory for the first conference victory for our new head coach Ryan Jump. Definitely very excited to pull that off with a extremely young team. We talked about we've got some other teams that are young, but he's going with a lineup that I don't think has any players that were on the team a year ago on it. So, and didn't have the opportunity to recruit them, so he didn't know what he was getting into coming in. So to be able to get a group that's completely foreign to him, playing well enough to stay in it after falling behind and come back against a conference opponent, really encouraging going forward.
Women's volleyball claimed to win, and then the weather claimed a win, I guess, right?
Yeah, we don't see too many weather cancellations on an indoor sport, but it was way too humid. We couldn't keep all the moisture off the court. Had to cancel the second match on Friday. It's an unfortunate thing to have happen, but it presents an opportunity. This week we're hosting a CCIW WIAC crossover event, and actually are playing next door in the Res Rec Center for the first time. So they're putting down temporary flooring to play that event over there, so we don't have to worry about that kind of problem, because you're going to be in an air-conditioned environment, a lot better climate control. So an excellent job of thinking outside the box and using what really is an excellent competitive venue for other types of things. It's a big space. You can kind of configure it however you want. So this may lead to some other opportunities to address challenges that we have.
Somebody else might use that. The wrestling team.
The wrestling team will be running their annual tournament in that space as well. I think that gives them. They've been having to run that event when they played it in Myrna. They've also had to run a mat upstairs in Nichols Gym due to the amount of space that they had.
It's a bit warm up there.
Just a bit, and it just from a logistical standpoint, it's hard to make calls for matches and get them going up and getting people in the right place. So to be able to do all that in one space in Res Rec, I think that was really a creative solution for Joe Norton and the coaching staff to address kind of a unique problem.
We've seen that space host track nationals twice, and it's turned out well.
And commencement and several concerts and several other things. So it's definitely a good option to have. It's a quality facility no matter which way you set it up, and we're very lucky to have it.
Let's finish up our trip around the athletic campus with football. 2-0, number 5 ranked team in the nation. There's been other years where the team is ranked and undefeated at this point, but this team almost has a little bit of a different feel in the sense that it's an expectation they're going to go undefeated in the regular season. It's what they're gunning for.
It's they've definitely got an edge to them. if you talk to a man, almost you talk to them about that, and all they want to talk about is all the work they have to do, because I still don't think we know how good they are yet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the exciting thing about it, because we're going to get to see them improve, and we've certainly seen over the past years that John and Jeff have coached the program. They improve throughout the season, and that there's going to be, with the number of young guys we've had playing the last couple of years, it's taken a little while to get to full stride. So that's the really exciting part. They've beaten a couple of really good teams, and they haven't even become what they're going to be. So that's kind of the exciting thing about it for us, is just seeing we still get that surprise of what they're going to be, and they're still winning while they're learning along the way.
It's going to be so exciting to see. And they will say 1 week at a time, but as a fan's perspective, it's going to be fun to see what they're like at the end of the season.
Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about there.
Let's finish up this visit with a quick hit. We did this last week. Let's do it again this week. I won't make you sing the Nequa Fight song, I promise.
I wouldn't be able to.
What's your hobby outside of not sports, but sports information?
Well, I'm blessed to be in, doing something that I would do anyway, which is watch athletic events. So, getting outside of that, obviously spending time with my wife, who is kind of a rock star in her own right. She just got an award from NASCAR at the race in Joliet on Sunday for her work with the Association of Latino Professionals for America. So getting to go and do things where she's kind of the star is really kind of a thrill for me. Kind of being in the middle of so many things, and she thought it was really cool to be able to show me something in sports that I hadn't seen before, because she thinks I've done everything in sports. But so spending time with my wife and our in-laws here in the Chicago area has been great. But I've gotten big into cooking in the last 2-3 years. So we took a couple of classes to learn how to make certain things, and I kind of ran with it and started doing all the different kinds of stuff. And it's surprising my wife with it every once in a while, and she always seems to appreciate, having a unique meal to come home to.
You're scoring all kinds of brownie points.
I hope I'm not getting too many husbands in trouble.
Clark, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we'll close out the show. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher or a reality TV star.
I dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life? Make me excited about science like you?
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. The football team heads down to Milliken to try and improve to 3-0. We'll have the highlight following the game right here on NCTV 17. Until next week, I'm Kevin Jackman, and this has been The Red Zone.